Hello, welcome back. This is Dr. Introspect from Dr. Introspect TV, and I'm back. Alright, so that's my intro, and today I know we're doing another voiceover style video. Let me know how you feel about this voiceover style videos in the comments. I really want to know your thoughts. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a Netflix movie, actually, and the title is Enola Holmes. Stay tuned. Hello. So welcome back. So today we're talking about Enola Holmes, like I said earlier, and I just want to frame the conversation. So, some backstory. Enola Holmes is actually based on Sherlock. It's like an offshoot from the whole Sherlock story, and someone else has actually tried to do this before in the Sherlock TV show, the one starring Benedict Cumberbatch. Sherlock has a sister called Eurus, I think, and the sister is like this super villain with her deduction skills just exceeds anything human. She's almost like the superhuman basically, and she's like a villain there, but here they just flip it, and Enola is like this sweet girl. She is likable, she's not a villain, she's a heroine, so that kind of thing. Also, there's also the Sherlock Holmes, the one starring Robert Downey Jr. That's actually a movie, and they have different sequels after the original. And here we have a completely different situation going on. We have this guy, you might know him from Superman, playing Sherlock, and we also see Sherlock's brother here, Mycroft, someone else playing him as well. And then we have Enola. Some people thought that this was probably a different take on Sherlock, as in replacing Sherlock with a female and just changing her name, but no, Enola is a whole character on her own. She's not a female Sherlock Holmes. It's someone completely different. And just warning, spoilers ahead. So I'm going to really be dropping some bombs here as I go on to analyze this movie, so please just bear in mind. Also, the star of the show here is Millie Bobby Brown. You might know her from Stranger Things. And side note, I have a Stranger Things video you can look up here on the channel where I do a good analysis of the season 3. Wink wink, you can check that out. And just staying on point, I'm gonna look at some of the themes we have right here. So first theme I want to talk about is the general twist of things. In your classic Disney type movies, your Snow Whites, your Cinderellas, your Rapunzel, the prince always swoops in to save the princess who's trapped in a tower by some big bad witch. But that's completely different here. We have someone that's a lord who's basically royalty, really, and his name is Tewksbury. And there's a whole thing going on with some kind of movement, and Enola saves him, right? Enola swoops in and she saves him time and time again, really. And that's a flip on what we're kind of used to. I think that was something they were going for here. Also, this Lord Tewksbury guy, he has like no brute whatsoever. Like, fighting skills are like zero. I mean, he's witty and he's smart and stuff, but like that physical strength that is supposed to be a characteristically masculine trait is not really coming true here. Instead, Enola Holmes is the one doing all the brute and fighting and protecting and all of that stuff. Of course, it's because of her upbringing, but that's definitely a twist to the conventional that was what noting. Something else to mention is how Enola reclaims her femininity and the whole twist of feminism and women empowerment that's going on in this story. So very good examples really with regards to the corset. Now, in the movie, there's a scene where the assassin tries to stab her and it just gets caught in there and it doesn't make contact with her flesh. So instead of the corset being this thing that is traditionally seen as this oppressive garment associated with, suppression and women, trying to fit into this mode for the male gaze, it becomes a tool that she uses as like an armor basically. So they flip it like that, and even her femininity becomes a tool as well, because she is known as a tomboy and she likes to dress up as one. In fact, she dresses up as a tomboy to escape and hide away from her brothers, but in order to fit in with society, knowing that her brothers might go there looking for some scraggly girl that doesn't care about her appearance, she assumes the full composure of femininity, the dress down to the head, down to composure, and they wouldn't have really found her for a while if she wasn't so curious and got herself meddled in trying to save Tewkesbury, really. And so in that kind of way, assuming that femininity was a way, like she reclaimed it and used it as a tactic and a tool. And for a lot of women in modern society today in 2020, you find that that's what you really feel like you have to do. You use your femininity as a tool. Now, I'm not talking about sleeping around to get a promotion or anything like that, but looking and trying to fit into society so that you can get to where you want to get to make the changes that you want to make, essentially. So that's something that they did there. Also, we also see the whole theme of a woman finding her own path. It's something that is recurrent in the story. It comes on and on and on again. So just to mention again for the backstory, Enola's mom basically abandons her. I don't like to use the word abandon, but that's what happens. Her mom leaves her because she has to go on this mission, but she doesn't tell her anything. She just ups and leaves one day. And Enola's brothers, Mycroft and Sherlock, come in and step in as her guardians, and Mycroft basically wants to send her off to this finishing school. The finishing school scenes are just so funny to me, so that she can become a woman that can move in society and, be a good homemaker and such. And I know seeing that, it could feel very triggering for some people, especially people that have come from places where they've been controlled. It feels oppressive, but I understand, given the time that and the setting of this movie, that he probably felt that he was helping her and he was showing her love, and hopefully she would outgrow these things and whims of hers. Because for a woman in that time, rebellion against society was probably not the best thing, still isn't today. And back then, all you could do really was be a wife, be a homemaker. Nobody asks you about your dreams, aspirations, what you want to do. So he probably felt that he was helping her out to be able to find a good husband so she can have children and be protected by a man, and have a better life, really. But that's not what Enola wanted, and unfortunately Sherlock was just silent about the whole thing. He wasn't saying anything, unbothered really, and I kind of was disappointed about that, but I'm not surprised because Sherlock has been known to have this kind of weird human dynamic relations going on. So I think her mother knew that she had to do what she had to do, but Enola is a child. She's underage. I don't think that was good parenting. I don't think it was right, but I don't care how well you think you've raised your child and you think she'd be okay and whatever, she'd find her own path. Maybe when she was 18, but she was a kid, So Enola has to find her path, and maybe her mother felt that she had to toughen her up, and she will be strong enough to go on this journey and find herself, because everyone is responsible for their own lives and everyone has to find themselves. And maybe she didn't want her living an ordinary life. I also have to mention that Enola had a very different type of upbringing. Her mother raised her differently, so she would often repeat that she didn't learn embroidery, and she was horrible at it, really. That instead she was fighting in the den, learning swordsmanship, learning science, reading basically all the encyclopedias and all the books in their house. Just basically all the things that are uncharacteristically female she was doing. So that was something to note. At least in that time, it was very different, and it's not like she was being forced to do these things. She did enjoy them. She preferred those things, and it just reminds us to really be grateful that we live in a time. I mean, we're still fighting for a whole lot more when it comes to equality, but we live in a time where we're able, in some places, to choose our paths, to choose our careers, to choose what we want to do. At that time, it wasn't a luxury a woman could really depend on, really. Just comparing Sherlock and Enola, there were times where it seemed as if Enola bested her brother when it came to the deduction. So Sherlock is basically a detective. He solves cases, but not a detective in the police, but like private type thing. People hire him privately to solve things. And Enola, she was trying to solve the case. She actually was on a journey to find her mother, and in the process came in contact with this Tewkesbury boy whose life was in danger, and she just felt like, that was more important, given the timing, than finding her mom, who's probably okay. This guy could be killed, and if she could live with that. So her mission changed, basically. And she also does this whole deductive thing, and I think she's really good. I feel like the only difference between Enola and Sherlock's is one age. Sherlock's is significantly older than Enola, so he has all that wealth of experience and time. But then I feel like Enola could really grow into that and gather all that experience as well as she grows, and then she has the added advantage of having this warmth to her character. She's really likable. She has a likable personality, and she's a good, law-abiding citizen. Tries to obey the law. She when she found out that Tewkesbury was a stowaway, she was like, okay, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna let you get me into trouble, type person. So it's like she is more present in society, unlike Sherlock, that is a little bit of a recluse. And having that warmth can definitely help you get farther in life. I mean, people that, if you're watching this and you have really great people skills, you know what I'm talking about. Life is just better for people that know how to get along with human beings, right? That's not a strength that Sherlock has. Now, I don't know if it was a deliberate thing, them writing it into her character, because she's a woman, and women are supposed to be, warm and nurturing and all of those things. So that is something I really am curious about. I thought there is something really key I have to mention, and here in this meme, that's where you see it. So this character, this lady here, she looks at Sherlock and she tells him, look at you, you're just sitting down by the wayside, you're not helping Enola, you know what she's doing, you're not helping your mom, you're just here, you're just, basically you don't really care about what's happening because it suits you. You're okay with status quo. And that just makes me think about people that are probably recluse or introverted, or people that like to spend time in their minds. You're always in your mind, and you just, you blur out and block out what's happening in your surroundings all over you, because you're imaginative and there's a whole bright world up there, but the world can it seems like every day a lot of horrible things are happening all around us, and you can only ignore things for so long, is how I feel, until you realize that, you know, the world is burning down all around you, there's fire and brimstone, and you just cannot not just ignore but block out, and just in some way you're a willing participant in the damage that's happening all around you, you know. You might say you're not adding fuel to the fire, but sometimes doing nothing is just as bad. And she was basically saying you don't really care about doing anything because it favors you. You're a man. This is a man's world. So you don't care. And just thinking about it today, as people are fighting for equality in sports, in corporate world, for equal salaries and all of these things, it's not a fight that women can fight for themselves alone. We need the men fighting side by side with us. And it's like there are people that are okay with things just being the way they are because they benefit from status quo, really. So I thought that was something that was key to mention. Something else I thought that was really interesting was how the whole theme of romanticism was not really explored here. I don't know if it's because in the bid to really write strong female characters, they didn't want to get swept away by the whole love story, because love is a very popular theme. It sells. People identify with it. It's normal. It's human. So it's very typical to see that, but here we could obviously see that Enola and Tewkesbury definitely had a connection. It was there, the chemistry was everywhere, and perhaps they didn't want to play into the stereotypical Netflix. I mean, I've said it here before, you know, all your Riverdales and whatnots, teenagers just doing all kinds of things, sometimes full on like sex scenes and stuff. If you're watching Elite, nudity everywhere. Maybe they didn't want to go down that path, you know, maybe because it's a British style stuff, I don't know. But whatever the case, it wasn't something that was explored. That we could see that chemistry, their hands would touch each other, they would blush. There was definitely those vibes, but it wasn't a full-on romantic thing. So whatever the reason, it didn't really break the story in any way, but it was something to note that they didn't really explore that theme. Finally, do you think that there will be a sequel? It ended really well. So it's not like it ended in a way that you think that there might be a sequel, but if they did have one and they decided to explore something else in Enola's development, I think it would do well. They need to come at it with a really great story, though. I would be here for it totally. And yeah, I mean, they could really turn it into something really good, definitely. And totally looking forward to it, really. And that's really all I have for you so far. And I'd like to know your thoughts in this film. There wasn't much to it. There wasn't any mind-bending storylines, no time gaps, no time travel, no future, nothing complicated. Just your normal, everyday, good, average, feel-good film. And I get bored with some British films, but not this one. It was fine. So let me know if you want to see more styles like this in the voiceover, or if you've missed my face or you want to let me know, you can just tell me in the comments. So until then, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and share this video. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.